Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandez, and
I'm Chris Jai-Wardner. Hello.
And we're here with the episode Honeymoon Hotel, the second season of Laverne and Shirley, directed by Gary Shimokawa, and written by Monica Johnson and Eric Cohen. And I'm sure you got some information about them, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, Monica Johnson and Eric Cohen were also the writers for, oh God, excuse me, my nose, for the previous episode, Buddy, Can You Spare a Father? And we are going to be seeing them do something a little less, maybe dark and intense, but certainly most, we'll see about the quality as we go through. As we were saying before, Monica Johnson went on to go work with Albert Brooks. And as to Eric Cohen, he did a lot of different things as a producer through the years, including like just kind of being exec producer or supervising producer for a season or two of a show here, show there, including one season of The Golden Girls. One season of The Nanny, as well as a show called Dweebs, which I totally forgot was a thing. I'm now suddenly remembering, oh my God, flashbacks. Along with writing credits throughout on things such as So Little Time, Valerie. Well, God, I remember Valerie. The Golden Girls as well. Yeah. Amen. Things like that, of that nature. Director Gary Shimokawa, interesting detail about him was that this is his first main director credit. He had been an associate director, which I suspect was probably in the vein of a assistant director on television on some of these sitcoms through the early 70s. And once he pretty much got the gig doing main directing gigs, he did quite a bit, including practically a season's worth of Alf, What's Happening Now, 14 episodes of 9 to 5, 4 episodes of Saved by the Bell for us millennial types, as well as continuing to work all through the 2000s, and seemed to have finally kind of gotten slowed down about 2009, but my gosh, it had a 35-year career. That's pretty good, Gary. And we get to see here his nice beginning as a director. Yeah, with Honeymoon Hotel.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really nice way to begin one's career. This is what the episode's about. When Shirley wins a free honeymoon thanks to her eternal optimism and Laverne's quick thinking, the girls and their friends conspire to help them share their time in the uber-fancy bridal suite of the Hotel Pfister, sneaking Laverne into the room in a traveling trunk while Shirley and Carmine pose as the bride and groom. But what Shirley presumed was a single photo op turns out to be an entire weekend of publicity for the hotel, which means the plans will be ruined. Laverne and Shirley throw caution to the wind and throw a party in the suite, putting them on a crash course with the snobs running the place. What do you think of this one?
So you had hyped me up quite a bit for this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely lived up to it.
Yeah.
It's
this is one of my solid 10 episodes.
Yeah. I could see why. I mean, I mentioned before a few episodes ago that feeling very Blake Edwards-y. This is very much a Blake Edwards kind of feeling, slapstick comedy.
Yes, it is.
And yet it does it with a lot of heart, a lot of soul, some really good goofiness. And there's a really interesting payoff. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but there's a really fun payoff at the end of the episode.
Yes, there is.
But it is great. So I have to mention, so we've discussed on the show, you're a Laverne shipper. It is your thing. And you showed, I mean, I remember seeing the images on our ye old Tumblr blogs about, you showed me, the popcorn scene.
Yeah.
And, I said like, oh, I don't know if I see it or whatnot. I saw it myself here and immediately the light bulb went off over my head.
Yeah.
And furthermore, when I watched the episode with my mother, same thing. Her jaw dropped and she's pointed at the two of them on the couch. It's like, oh, and like, wait a minute. And it was very cute. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not too much. At the very least, she did give me this look like, oh, I get it now.
Does your mom know that I shipped them too?
Yes. I have this feeling that maybe I wasn't supposed to tell that information. Okay.
No, I'm not offended that she knows, and I'm just amused. But I don't mind it. Like this is first of all, the beginning of this scene is top 10 one of the best openers in the series history because you got a lot. Whenever Laverne hangs out with the boys, it's fun.
Oh, totally.
First of all, and yeah, poor Squiggy running back and forth across the floor, ranting because he's been dumped again.
Yep.
And his heart's broken. He doesn't get it, and it's driving him crazy. And there's Laverne and there's Lenny, and they're sitting there ridiculously close with a bowl of popcorn in his lap that she keeps reaching into to eat from. And acting as companionable as can be. And you know that 4 people can fit on that sofa, and she could have a whole lot of distance between the 2 of them, and there ain't.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, she says it's not a date, and it's not a date. And it's, but he's still sitting there buttering popcorn for her, bit by bit, kernel by kernel, and she's shoving it in her mouth, so.
Yep. And
there's not you can say about that.
Look, my policy is that's a date when you butter the girl's popcorn, and that's not a euphemism. When it's literal like that, that's a date. Period.
Yep.
And isn't I can't remember. Are they the only 2 that also respond to the TV when it says "Hello, lovers"?
I know the 3 of them do it together.
Okay, all 3 of them do it together. Okay.
Yeah. That whole scene is fabulous.
Yeah.
As they argue over communal eternity. They sit there and make fun of the movie a little bit.
Yeah. They're probably not even using their own tongues. It's done with trick photography.
Yeah, trick photography. It ain't such a much. Didn't remember to bring a towel to the beach.
Yeah.
So everything happens.
Yep.
And all of the dialogue, everything that leads up to Shirley's ship coming in. And Laverne having to reel in the big fish by saying the right names, which is Romeo and Juliet. The trivia question is Romeo and Juliet. And even the boys don't think that's the right thing, by yelling, Esther Gutenberger, father hated Persians! At the top of their lungs. It's her job to make sure the love drum has officially spun their way.
Yep.
And so it is.
Yeah, that's good.
And everything about that whole scene is fabulous, all the way through to when they go to run down the movies to get Shirley to tell the good news. And Shirley's already come home. She's in the closet. They accidentally leave her in the closet, and she goes, I want a honeymoon? And she just chases them. She just chases them, the 3 of them down the block.
Right, and you see the visual gag. Damn it! Yeah. No, Siri, stop that. There we go. Sorry, my phone. Let me just check that over. And let me just check this over there. We're keeping this in. It's good. It's comedy. It's entertainment. But yeah, they repeat the visual gag of them running by the window. You see them running, the trio running by the window, and then you see Shirley as well. Yeah. That is so cute and so perfect of a punchline.
Yeah, I loved everything about this entire first scene just sets everything up. And also the line from Squiggy, I told her I was a terminal case, 2 weeks to die, which is his best line, apparently. Which is so perfectly him. But yeah, I love it. I love the popcorn buttering so very much. This has become such like a classic moment for certain people in the fandom that people call it, quote unquote, weirdly romantic. Several of my friends have called that, and it kind of fits. It is weirdly romantic. You're sitting there buttering a little piece of popcorn for someone you like, and just handing it over to them instead of actually eating it yourself.
So,
yeah.
Are you saying I need to practice my butter technique?
Perhaps. Perhaps, just a little. But then you move on. The way the entire gang decides that they are going to help Shirley achieve her goal instead of not being prudent. Nobody in this entire situation is prudent. Nobody says you shouldn't screw the hotel out of this night. You are going to get in trouble. You're going to get thrown in jail. No one does that. No one is sensible, and it's fabulous. It is fabulous.
I mean, Edna with her 5 wedding gowns in the trunk.
Yes.
And I love the motherly way she says, "Oh, and this one's reversible. You can wear it in court."
Yeah, I love everything about that scene too. Everything from versional white to here we go again red. I just love that Shirley picks white because she's earned it. Obviously, of course she would. I love, for some reason, Lenny's in the scene. There's no reason for him to be there. There's literally no reason for him to be in this scene. But he's just hanging out in the scene, just listening to them talk.
Yeah.
Then he gets the trunk after having shoved it in the room. I just love that he's just there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, for some reason, it just tickles me. I don't know why it tickles me, but it does.
Oh no, totally. No, it does. There are a lot of cute things that are funny and adorable and ticklish through the whole episode, to be honest. This is a very, like, you do kind of have to be in the right mood for this episode because it's so hunky-dory, even with its trials and tribulations, because it's meant to put a smile on your face. You know, or it's made to turn a smirk into a grin.
Yeah. And the girls just being so overwhelmed about how classy, incredible this cheesy whole honeymoon suite is, and how they just fascinated by how the toilet paper has hearts on it.
Oh my god, I know.
And you sit down on the bed, it makes music.
The piano bed, my god, yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I love Laverne's line. It's like, who wouldn't want a Vodio dough in a place like this?
Yep.
And so
I just love. Sorry, bad.
I was gonna say, if the hearts are on the toilet paper and she goes, it smells just like hearts. I mean, does that mean it smells like muscle, flesh, cartilage, and blood?
Yeah, I was gonna say it must smell like gore.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, everyone. This is what happens when you get a sitcom podcast done by two horror nerds.
Yeah. And I just, the way they decide to get themselves through this. I love that Carmine, by the way, does not leave himself available in case things cock up, which he should.
Right.
But yeah, he doesn't. So the girls didn't have to salvage the weekend by themselves.
Oh God. And that's such a Carmine thing though, especially after we established the whole Jack Carmine connection last week. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Good gracious. God, every time I think of that, just whew.
Yeah. But
I love that they realize that there's going to be a way around this, and thus they try to get themselves around this.
Yep.
And the best way to do that is to invite acrobats up to your suite.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently. Only Laverne would find a troop of acrobats in a hotel. Only Laverne could do that.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. The Hungarian circus. I mean, of course, circus, they're foreign. They're, and they're, it's like, oh, I like the circus. Yeah. Leroy and his organ. That's suggestive.
Yeah.
God, and even Shirley's there's a doctor's convention. My God.
Yeah, that's her dream. That's why she's not down there. She doesn't go down there. She stays in the suite. Of course, you know how it would look.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the hotel itself, I mean, there's so many other details, but just before we forget, Geoffrey Lewis as Gunther, Mr. Gunther.
Yes.
God, I love Geoffrey Lewis in general, but this was, I don't get to see him do comedy often enough, and he's great here. He's fantastic. He's so good. I always like to think of his dry delivery in Way of the Gun, and then to see him here as a more stereotypical like bellboy concierge type character is a blast, and the proper amount of snootiness for it. And the delivery of his line, if you're not happy now, you never will be.
Yeah. Yep. And then they're just awkwardly trying to move around them to get what they need out of the weekend. And Shirley's just faking it with Guido running around and rolling on the mattress, trying to make fake Vodio noises.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the line. I'm making honeymoon noises.
Yeah, honeymoon noises. I love so you get to this party. The boys end up at the party because they press a proctologist convention because of course they have, and Rosie's there flirting with every man but Ogden, which is a new wrinkle. Her cheating on Ogden apparently, flagrantly cheating on Ogden.
Yeah,
super flagrantly. And you end up with this big wild party of circus people and friends up in the suite, and it's just a great little scene. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. And that's where, it really felt like it flew into Blake Edwards territory for me with the party, because the party is such a great wild mix of different cultures and groups. And I love how this becomes, this amazing, like big broad moment with all these different people, because that's kind of the charm of Laverne and Shirley is they like to, when they party, they like to invite lots of people. They like to have a good time, that everyone's having a good time. The circus is just in the hotel, just hanging out. You have a proctologist conference, doctors, conference thing going on, and you just have other regular people around the place. This is probably the best party in the whole building, to be honest.
Yeah. And they are just throwing caution to the wind, and they are having fun, and it is great.
It's wonderful.
It is absolutely great.
Yeah.
I love that Squiggy hooks up with the bearded lady. This time for real. And his sweet little, dreamy little expression. This time for real, he's falling in love. I love that, first of all, Lenny's not even bothering to try to hook up with any of the girls. He's just sitting there juggling with the acrobats.
Right. Which is a great callback to his juggling and the two of our weirdos are missing.
Yep. And then he just goes over and he kisses Laverne on top of the head and tells them that they're going to leave.
Yep.
Which is another nice little touch that's really sweet that I really loved. But
hate to leave, but I think Squiggy's in love again, which is also that's a good bro moment, when you got to keep an eye on your bro when he's in love, because you got to make sure, okay, if this is, are they going to be all right for the night, or is this going to be, I got to bail his ass out of the fire, because I mean, it was only like a few days ago that he he had gotten all crushed, so
and it's like, I love that he always needs Lenny to drive him home for some reason. Why? I guess because he probably drank more than him, but as much, well, my only guess is that he ends up being the designated driver. Otherwise, usually he's the one who drives the girl back to where she came from. This becomes a pattern in their friendship where Squiggy will have a date, Lenny will drive the girl back. If she doesn't have a girl for him, it's 20% of the time he will do not.
So a 6-foot prop and a chauffeur, apparently.
Yeah, that's his lot in life. I just love everything about how Rosie and Laverne are finally getting along because they're drunk. They're only getting along because they're drunk.
Yeah, it figures.
And they just have this total heart-to-heart sister moment. Like, why do we fight? Why do we fight? What do we need to fight? We don't need to fight because Bimbo down to her soul.
Yeah, and I love the and the moment, the reveal of Rosie. It's like, you're my kind of man, but then who isn't? I mean, oh gosh, yeah.
They laugh about it, and it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's interesting how I mean, I'm not pro alcohol by any means. Because I feel that if people didn't need the alcohol to loosen up, then I think the world would probably be in some ways a better place. Also, probably in some cases a worse place, but depends. It's here and there. Anyway, the point is it feels in some ways like this is kind of their honest selves coming through a little bit. A little less of the pretenses.
Exactly. Exactly. They have finally just dropped everything, and deep down, you can see how they are the same. You can see how they are the same kind of rough and tumble girl who's tough and who's incredibly, likes guys a lot. Fearlessly likes guys. But in the end, they come together, find common ground, and end up, figuring out, we have a lot more in common than I thought.
Yeah.
That's how it turned out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I was totally blown away. It's Rosie that saves the day when they're busted, waving all that cash around, and it figures, it's a good party, it's they're having a good time. Yeah, and again, my mom clapped hard for this moment, which I had a feeling she was gonna like that, because she always likes when people get to hang out and be together, and that was kind of what I figured. It's like, this is a reminder there's still the Angora Debs, Yeah, there's a reason that even though they didn't get along, they butted heads, but they were part of the same group, and it's felt here, which is great. Yeah. And they freeze. I was gonna say they're still the same teenagers they were when they used to hang out in the little clubhouse, writing in their little yearbook and wearing their patches. They're still the same girls. They just got taller. Yeah.
And sometimes they try to deny that. Whenever they try to deny that, they fight, and This time, perfect sisterhood with the big bimbos rallying cry.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so good, because everybody is united. Everybody is united and working towards the same common goal.
Yep.
Everybody but Frank. Frank doesn't show up in this episode, which is interesting.
Yeah, kind of to my surprise, but at the same time, I wonder if it was a case of that, from a writing perspective, trying to find a reason for him to relax a little bit on this situation would have been challenging, because it also means at the end, Edna's okay with the party, but she doesn't participate either, and so it's the kids getting to finally get to have their fun together.
Yeah. In the end, she is just happy that, they are going to just have fun. She's the kind who would flout rules. She's the kind of woman who would say, no, go and have your fun. So it makes sense for her to, participate in this scheme. Right. Frank would be less so.
Well, I was just going to quickly say, it's the difference between the two parents, right? It's like, well, if dad says no, then go ask mom.
Yeah. She's a fun parent. He's the unfun parent in a lot. In some ways, sometimes he's the fun parent. That just depends on the episode. Right. But, yeah, there's a reason why he doesn't really need to be a part of this particular one. I love that at the very end, they're leaving. They can never come back to this hotel ever again. But they've had their fun and they're totally content. They give no craps about all the havoc they've caused. They don't feel guilty at all. And then Laverne tries to take the heart-shaped toilet seats.
Yeah. I mean, I
love it.
It's funny, but it's like, honey, it's not going to make your shit smell any better.
But it gets to be fancy. It's fancy. In their minds, this is fancy. You know what I mean?
know, but it's also, it's too big. They're gonna fall right through it. I mean, anyone with a bony butt is, anyway.
Well, as established, as future canon will establish, Shirley has no mind at all. And she's insecure about it. This is the future. Okay. We'll get there. That's going to be a thing.
Oh, boy.
I don't believe you do. Is everything about this episode is damn good. It's one of the best episodes the show has to offer. It's honestly one of the best things in the season. And everything from the direction to the writing to the acting is darn flawless. I love that Shirley's balloon flies high here. This is her wildest scheme come true. She gets everything she wants except for the doctor husband at this point in this thing.
Yep.
They get to go somewhere fancy. She gets to hang out with her best friend. She gets to have fun. And in the end, she gets away with it. Even Rosie and Laverne get along.
Yep.
Which is like one of her fondest wishes because she doesn't have to stand between them anymore.
Definitely, yeah, and understandably, it's something you dream big. If you're going to dream big, dream really big in the Rosa Greenbaum and Laverne DeFazio getting along sort of way.
Yeah, that's probably one of her bigger. Probably one of her bigger dreams is just not to have to deal with being almost punched by the two of them this season.
Yeah,
that's below the doctor husband and kid, and Collie and all that stuff.
So speaking of Shirley, though, is this finally? This is the moment. I have a note here about how the. Is this the point where Laverne finally doesn't finish that statement of "Doesn't your balloon ever land?"
Yeah. Yes, this is the episode. This is definitely the episode. She starts to say it, and then she looks at her and just like, yeah, she lets it go because, in a way, she has been a passenger on the balloon all weekend.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I like that. Awesome. So with all that love and adoration for this episode, is there any other notes you have, or are you ready to go on to the ranking?
I've got all of them. That was all my notes. Do you have any notes? Any further ones?
Not really. I mean, there's Sweetie Paw. I mean, there's like little gags, but I mean, this is an episode that, as much as I'd love to talk about it, I want our listeners to take this in themselves if they haven't seen it yet, And we've got the Twitter and the comments and stuff for us to chit chat and geek out about our other favorite moments. But this was a lot of the highlights for me. It was great, good guest character stuff, great character stuff overall. I mean, I'm curious what your ranking is. I mean, I give this probably a high 9, to be perfectly honest.
This is a 10 for me.
Yeah,
This is
I'm
a 10.
not surprised.
This is a full out 10 for me. It's perfect. It's perfect in a lot of ways. I love it when a gang comes together and kicks a snob in the butt. And this is one of the better examples of that. And I love when everybody teams up for better for worse. And this is just a perfect episode in a lot of ways. A lot of ways.
It's good stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to argue with just... There's a delight throughout this episode. Every line delivery, every joke, every piece of, there was so much fun that was had here. And it all works. It hits and lands. And, this is one of those, like, if I could only pick a few episodes to keep from the ones that I've seen, this would be in the 5 or 6 that I would want desperately to take with me. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a darn good episode. Look Before You Leap is my favorite episode of the whole season. That's going to be number 1 on my ranking. This is probably going to be number 2. Probably.
I think I would say the same, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's
Awesome.
A darn good episode. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And if you're ready to talk with us some more about this, me feel like this maybe was kind of a light episode, then go hit us up on the Twitter, Night After Night PC on Twitter, or Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, YouTube, and even the Patreon as well. If you would like to give us some support and some incentive to do some extra episodes and do some extra bonus content. But it's a good time. Please join us. And gosh, I guess we're kind of really swinging into high here. We're getting pretty close to the end of season 2. But Lisa, my dear, what is coming up next?
Next week, the boys get stood up for a date. So they ask the girls out. And they go to a fancy French restaurant. Chaos ensues. The girls vow they will never tell the world that they went on a date with Bunny and Squiggy. But the world will witness it all in High Neighbor Book 2.
Ooh, Book 2. Is there a Book 3, or 4, or 5, or a 16-volume set?
Tragically not, because that's the last episode David and Michael wrote for the show.
Oh.
Tragically not.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay. Well, I guess in that case, tune in tomorrow for the thrilling conclusion to High Neighbor Books 1 and 2, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, yes, thank you again, everybody, for joining us, and we will hopefully have you join us next time. Come back for High Neighbor Book 2, and have yourselves a good day. And gosh, you know what? Here's the little bit of advice is when you're podcasting, make sure you take your allergy medicine beforehand.
Go take your meds.
Okay,
meds, guys.
I'm gonna do it. Hang on. I'll get it.
My advice is going to be, if you're given the opportunity to steal a heart-shaped toilet seat, at least sterilize it first.
I think that's good. Yeah, I think sound idea, especially in this day and age. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah.